Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I need to put together a silk arrangement of all red poinsettias. So I'm going to show you what we're using. So this is a food saver. It's just a plastic container that comes with a lid so you can put leftovers in it and drop it in the fridge. We've had these, we use them as liners for arrangements, and so that's what I'm going to use today to build this arrangement. This is just floral foam. It's a stiff floral foam used for silk flowers. And then what I've done is I have poured plaster of Paris in here, and it has dried, so it gives my pot some weight. Now this pot you're not going to see. I'm going to show you how to wrap that with foil. I'm going to take a little bit of Spanish moss and I am going to lay it right over my foam. And what this is doing is kind of camouflaging that foam for me. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to add a little bit of silk leather leaf. Now these arrangements are going to be used in the church. We actually have 6 total that we're going to make. I'm going to take my wire snips. These, this is a bundle of artificial or silk leather leaf. There are 12 stems in a bundle, and so I'm just going to use one bundle here. I'm going to take my steps and I'm going to trim up these stems. They're a little long, so I'm just going to cut off the tips of this greenery with my wire snips. And so I just made it a little shorter. Now I'm going to take my snips. So you can see I have a glue pan here. I'm going to take, and it's not my snips, I'm going to take my leather leaf. I'm dipping it right into my glue. My glue's not quite hot enough, so I just turned it up just a little bit. So this is an actual frying pan that you would put on your countertop and fry food in. We like this size pan because it holds enough glue that we can work together and use it at the same time. And if you will turn your pan, if you buy this type of pan, if you'll turn it on to 150 degrees, that's plenty hot enough. And the temperature, the way your glue, or the texture of your glue should be about the texture of honey. So it should be about as runny as honey usually is. And then you're going to take your stems, dip them right down into that glue, and then put them right into your pot or to your foam. So I'm just dipping each stem and tucking it right into my foam. And I'm going all the way around. This is going to be an all the way around arrangement. The wonderful thing about artificial leather is you can kind of bend it and make it do what you need it to. Now this is exactly what you would do you could also do this exact technique for a cemetery arrangement or any type of arrangement. You just want to drop this down into a prettier container or wrap it like I'm going to. So I have 3 bushes of red poinsettias. And so what I'm going to do is there are 5 stems per bush. I'm going to take them with my snips. I'm going to cut each bloom off the bush. And I left my stems as long as I could. And I'm going to do that with all 3 bushes.
Oh, okay. Maybe mine goes.
Now these snips that I'm using, they're cobalt snips. I bought them from Lowe's and they are wonderful snips. We have about 3 pairs of them and we can't keep up with them. We can't ever keep up with them. So what I'm going to do with my poinsettias is I'm going to fluff them, and my leaves, my greenery just slid off my stem. So I'm going to put that right back on because that greenery is going to help me fill up my arrangement. It's going to help with keeping the arrangement green, you know, and just make it look nicer. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking these poinsettias and I'm fluffing them. You just want them to look pretty. So just take those blooms and fluff them. I'm dipping that stem right into that glue, pressing it right into my foam. Now I'm going to turn my heat down just a tad because it's a little runny. If that glue gets too hot, it's going to get too runny. If it's too runny, it's going to drip, and it's going to drip on you. So you have to be careful. So I'm going to take each bloom, I'm going to fluff it just a little bit, and I'm going to insert it right into the foam. Now the nice part about a poinsettia arrangement is it's all the same bloom. So it's really easy to design. It doesn't take a whole lot of thought process in the placement of the bloom because it's just going all the way around in this arrangement. Fluff each of those stems and place them right into that foam. And you see how I'm kind of turning my container. And if you get it down in the arrangement and it's not where it needs to be, just use your snips and snip it right out. Sometimes that glue holds tight and it's hard to remove, so just use your snips and just snip that right out. Okay, so my poinsettias are all in place, so it's a very full and pretty arrangement. Next I'm going to come in. I have some pine branches, artificial. I'm just going to take and I am going to fluff them. So it's very important with any type, you saw me fluff the poinsettias, any type of artificial branches or blooms, you are going to want to make sure that you fluff them, okay? It's always important to give everything a really good fluff because it looks artificial if it's flat and if it's not fluffed. So always breathe a little life into it by giving it a good fluff. And what I mean by that is just be sure that it's not flat, okay? These pine branches, I am just trimming them up a little, dipping them right into my glue, and tucking them right into my arrangement. Now you can always cut these in half if you needed to, which is always nice because you have more for your money, right? Okay. So there's my pine branches tucked into my arrangement. Next I'm going to add just a few of this is a flocked branch with some pine cones. I'm going to add 3 of these stems. I'm trimming that stem, dipping in glue, and then tucking them right down into that foam. Okay. Now the one thing you'll find when you work with anything that has flocking is it sheds, okay? So you're going to have to just clean it up. It does shed a little bit. I dropped one on the floor over here. Okay. So here's my last piece of greenery and our arrangement is ready. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we use foil wrap to wrap our arrangement. So there's our pine branches and our flocked cedar. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side, blow off my counter. I'm going to put my glue away and I'm going to grab some foil. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. And so what we usually do is this is foil paper. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out and I'm going to cut it. So this I'm going to wrap the pot of my poinsettias with. So I'm just taking my scissors and cutting my foil. I'm going to set that to the side. I am going to fold over the edges that have been cut. It just gives it a prettier presentation to me than a ragged cut edge. So I like to just fold those edges over. It's not completely, that's not something that's really necessary, except it makes me feel better. So I'm setting my container right in the center of my foil. And what I like to do is I like to take my foil wrap, pull it here in the center and tuck it in, and then make a point. So I'm putting a fold right here on the side. I'm gonna hold that, pull this one up, and make a fold, okay? I'm gonna turn it and do the same thing, tuck this right in, pull it up and make a point, pull it up and make a point. So you'll see these folds on your container. Turn it, and you're gonna do it on all four sides. Tuck it in, pull up, and pull up. Tuck it in, pull up, and pull up. And then go all the way around and make sure that that foil is well tucked into that container. So there's your container wrapped with green foil. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to make a pretty red velvet bow. I'm going to set my container to the side, and I am going to make a bow. It's not going to be too many loops. We don't need it too large because I don't want the bow to say, I don't want it to scream, here's a big red bow. I just need ribbon to hold that foil in place. So we might as well make probably a 3-looped bow to tuck onto this container. And when I say 3 loops, I mean 3 loops on each side. So it's 6 loops total. So here's my 6-loop bow. I'm going to do a twist, and I'm going to make a little bit of a tail, not very long tails. Cut and cut. So here's my bow there. I'm going to take a little wire, and I'm going to wire my bow together. Twist. And then we're going to fluff that bow. So be sure it's just like everything else. Give everything a good fluff before you add it to your arrangement. So there's our bow fluffed. I'm going to place it on a wood pick. So I'm just going to take the wire that I tied the bow with, wrap it right around that wood pick. And then I'm going to take that wire that's attached to the pick and wrap that right around the wire that's attached to the bow. It's just double secure. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bow and I am going to stick it right here into the foam. So you stick it right through the foil and you push it right into that foam. You don't want to break that pick, so carefully push it into that foam, okay? So there's my bow in place. Now let me show you how we're going to keep this foil on our container. I'm going to take a long strip of ribbon, probably a little longer than I really need. So take a strip of ribbon, and I am going to come, here's the back side. I'm going to take this ribbon and come right around the back side of that container. And then I am going to tie it right here around that wood pick. So I'm just taking my ribbon and I am going to tie a knot at the top. If I can adjust, tie my knot at the top. So here's, let's see if I can come around a little bit. Here I'm taking that ribbon and I'm just tying it at a knot here. And then I'm going to lift my bow and I'm going to tie it in a second knot up underneath my bow. Now that just makes sure that it's not going to come loose. And then fluff your bow. And there is our poinsettia pot for the church. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you have any questions about how we put together anything here at the shop, be sure to ask those questions down below. And if you would please subscribe to our channel, we'd love that too. Guys, have a wonderful day and we'll see you real soon. Thank you.